What is up, YouTube? Zuki M1 here, and I am back with a brand new YouTube video. Today, we are going to be going over my BT17 list for Justimon, and I do believe this probably will be one of the best iterations of my Justimon list because it is not held back by a lot of the previous problems that we used to face with playing Justimon, and I'll go over that in just a bit. So first things first, let's go over the Digitamas. We are running 4 of the Doraemons from BT16. All turns when another Digimon with blocker is deleted. So not itself, but another Digimon with blocker is deleted. You gain 1 memory, and that's during both players' turn. So there's going to be times where you're going to have opportunities to pop your Higurimon X Anybody token, and that could literally force the turn to end on your opponent's side. So that's super impactful, which is why we are running this egg over the Hopmon and the other eggs as well. We are running 3 of the new black scrambles. These will not be out for NA until December, unfortunately. So initially this was supposed to have been out with BT17, like how they did in Japan, but due to distribution issues, we wasn't able to get it until later on this year, so we won't receive this until December. But this card is absolutely insane for Justimon. This really does help us be able to get to the OTK way faster, and we're not always required to always see the defense training cards to be able to get to those lines quicker. So this also allows you to be able to set up a body on board. Hint hint, wink wink. You can put out the Higurimon back from the trash to be able to play its on play effect to search for either your Cybergermon, your Justimon, or the other Justimon, right? So a lot of searching capabilities, a lot of power, plus it also allows you to be able to grab a black tamer, and all of your tamers are black. So this has great synergy with each other. Next, we're running 2 black memory boosts. You can, if you want, you can take out the black memory boost and put in more of a defensive option card, such as like Ultimate Flare. Ultimate Flare does work. I just like to try to go for OTKs and things of that nature, but you definitely can just take this out, put in the Ultimate Flares to prevent you from getting locked out and things of that nature. Then defensive training, like I mentioned before, reveal the top 2, so it adds for consistency, and it allows you to digivolve into your alliance a little bit cheaper for the reduced cost of 2. Black Scramble reduces it by 3, but it's only when you first initially activate it. So that first initial activation, you get to reduce the next evolution by 3. And then with this one, delay, you get to choose. So you pretty much get the same thing, but this is more proactive. This is more reactive, I guess. Not necessarily, but that there's really no other word to describe it, I guess. We're running 2 Izzies. You can bump that up to 3 if you like and change the order of one of these 2. I just personally prefer these guys a little bit more in abundance because they will help you generate more memory than Izzy is allowed to give you. Also, if Izzy is hit out of security, his on-play effect does trigger, so you can still turn to him as well. So you kind of also want to hope to see him in security sometimes, because if they hit it early, just trying to hit an early chip damage, and they're at 0, boom, pass your turn. And then what's even better is that he'll put you to 3, so you can start your turn at 3 and go into all your plays. Next, we're running Izzy and Joe. Izzy and Joe is a really old card, all the way back from BT6. This card allows you to be able to gain 2 memory if your opponent controls 2 or more Digimon. In the current state of Digimon, there's always going to be at least 2 Digimons on board most of the time. So having the Izzy and Joe is super impactful. Plus, during your opponent's turn, if a black Digimon is deleted, you get to draw a card that also includes the token for Higurimon. So you'll get 1 memory and you'll get a draw off of your Higurimon token dying. So super impactful, very good card, and this does stack obviously because Tamer's effects are not hard at once per turn, so you can stack them as many times as you have available. Next, we're running the Kazus. Kazus is also pretty much serving the same purpose, helping you gain additional memory so you can make more plays and things of that nature. So he costs 3 to play, and then at the start of your main, if you control a cyborg or machine, gain 1 memory. And then all turns when a cyborg or machine attacks, make sure you remember it's a cyborg or machine, not just any black Digimon, unfortunately. Right? When they attack, you can draw a card, then discard a card. So that can help you set up your trash for other decks like Machinedramon, but in our deck, it's just extra draw power to help you cycle through your deck and get rid of cards you don't need right now. For the Higurimons, we already kind of briefly touched on him already, but essentially he sources the top 3, grab a machine or cyborg trait Digimon, and 1 black tamer amongst them and add them to your hand so he can potentially be a double hitter. Next, we are running the Higurimon X Antibody, a super impactful card, very, very good. When Digivolving, you get to play a token named Ko Higuri. It has 1000 DP, blocker, and decoy. So that's super impactful, especially when people are trying to remove your Justmon. You can decoy to the token instead, and then trigger your Joe and Izzy, and trigger your Durimon. So lot of value, lot of value out of this card. Really, really great addition to the Justimon package. Next, Higurimon from EX1. On play, trash a machine or cyborg, draw 2. Very simple, straightforward, but good cycling throughout your deck. So very impactful card. Next, we're running a tech card that was introduced to me from another YouTuber that I watched, who initially gave me the idea of trying out some new stuff with the Justimon package, which is Sheepmon. Sheepmon has Armor Purge and Collision. Now this Collision is very, very impactful in this deck, particularly because Collision makes all of your opponent's Digimons blocker, so they're forced to have to block you. So when I attack, they have to block, and then when they block, I can trigger my Dorimon's egg to gain an additional memory. Then I can go either into the then I can trigger Black Scrabble, go into the Mamimon, or into the Cyberdramon, and then you know, play out a tamer. So one of these 3 options here, and then we could try to go into Justimon if we have enough from like one of these other cards that we set up from the following turn, right? So you can then activate his when Digivolving effect to unsuspend, so now you can swing again, and then depending on how many tamers you have face up, you can trigger your unsuspend and gain an additional 2k, so you'll be 13 swinging, which is pretty relatively safe for the most part. And then you can go into your Excel arm and then proceed to go for the OTK, right? But you know, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let me continue with the rest of the deck. So yes, the Sheepmon does play a very impactful thing. On top of that, it also has an extremely impactful effect where once per turn, all turns, when an attack target is switched, you may end the attack. So let's say you're going against Magnamon, or you're going against another deck that kind of needs to attack and things of that nature. When they attack, you can switch the attack target to the Higurimon token, and you see how I keep reverting back over to this token, right? So you can switch the attack over to the token. When that token attack is targeted and it suspends to attempt to block, your Sheepmon can activate its effect to end the attack. So your token doesn't die and the attack ends, so it's successfully blocked without having to block. And now it's going to force your opponent to want to decide on, do I get rid of this token now, give him the draw and the extra memory to get rid of the token so he doesn't continue to be a nuisance later on, or do we leave it on board so he can continue to get value out of his Sheepmon? So, you know, it's a pretty good card. Definitely slept on from BT16. So next, we're running the Tankmon from the Structure Deck 15. That's the one with Ty, by the way. This just simply has jamming. Kind of really just there to utilize the Higurimon's reboot inheritable. So you can get a quick swing in for, you know, 6k with jamming. Then the following turn, you got a Cyberdramon potential ace play. to de-digivolve something and play out a tamer. So it just works, right? It just works. It's really good. It's really good. Next, we are running the Mamemon. This is from BT11. It has the effect of on play and when digivolving. And if you notice, both of my Cyberdramon and my Mamemon will have the exact same effect. So I won't really go too far into details, except the one little last part on the Cyberdramon, which is both of these two can on play / when digivolve and reveal the top 5 cards of my deck, and then play a tamer that costs 4 or less among them. Now, the difference between Mamemon and Cyberdramon is that Mamemon plays any tamer. So if you had an assortment of colors in your deck, so let's say for instance I had red, purple, white, blue, whatever, he'll play it out. Whereas the Cyberdramon specifically only plays out black tamers. So just case in point, that's not the big difference though. The other part is that when Cyberdramon is played / when digivolved, it will de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon if you have a tamer. So if you have just an individual tamer, you can de-digivolve one on your opponent's side of the board, which can a lot of times affect your opponent's board state and prevent them from being able to successfully stay on the board because they got de-digivolved to a level 5 or a level 4 or so on and so forth. So very impactful card, really strong. De-digivolving is probably one of the strongest mechanics in the game. Not a lot of mechanics in the game to prevent you from being de-digivolved except in black decks. So, you know, having this inside of Justmon is really good, and it also has the added inheritable effect of when attacking de-digivolve. So you get to de-digivolve when you drop the ace, and you get to also de-digivolve when you swing. So you get a lot of control there, and it's very impactful. Plus it also sometimes help you meet the threshold of the Justimon Blitzarm to pop a 5 cost or less. So again, very impactful card, really good. Probably one of the best aces for this deck that you can possibly run. Next, we got the Justimons. So we'll start with Blitzarm first before we go to Accelarm, because this one, you kind of got to start with this one first before you go into this one. But essentially, his effect is, when digivolving, activate one of the following effects. He can get 2k DP for the turn, he can unsuspend himself, or you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the play cost of 5 or less. Then, when attacking, for each tamer you have in play, activate this Digimon's when digivolving effect. Now, in case you didn't understand what that when attacking effect means, it means for every single tamer that you have in play, you can activate one of these when digivolving effects. So for instance, let's say I had all 8 tamers, I can trigger his when digivolving effects 8 times. So I could give him either, I can unsuspend him, give him as much DP as I want, pop as many 5 costs or less as I want, and then he gets to swing again, or I can digivolve into Accelarm. He keeps all the DP buffs for the turn, swing with +1 security and piercing, then digivolve into Justmon again, and then he gets to trigger his when digivolving effects again, such as unsuspending this Digimon. So you can check, unsuspend it, and then proceed to trigger all of your when attacking effects again, and you also have +1 security. So you're going to deal 1 + 2 + 2 again, so that's already 5 checks that you've done. Then you get to swing for game, right? So what I've realized in the Justmon deck is that you don't want to focus heavily on the +1 security part, which I was using before with some Rizamons and the metal gray mines and things of that nature, and just trying to get the line out as quickly as possible. You can pretty much end the game with just Accelarm and Blitzarm. You don't really need a lot of +1 security effects. So by those two alone, you can pretty much just go for a game depending on what they have in their security. And if they're not a set con deck, you're pretty much goated, right? You're goated. I also forgot to mention the Mamemon inheritable effect, which is when you play another Digimon by an effect, one of your Digimons gain blocker until the end of the turn. It won't happen too often in this deck, so that's why I didn't really bring it up. But let's say you did have a Gurumon on the board and you go into X anybody, this will trigger, and then you can give your Justimon himself blocker. And then you'll have the blocker trait for the following turn. I mean, he'll only be either 11 or 12k blocker if you didn't go for a game that turn. But, you know, it's there type of thing. But, yeah, that is the list, guys. We won't be able to play this list until officially until December, because we do not have the LM set. But I really feel good based on testing and how things have been going with this list. But you guys let me know what you guys think of the list below, and or you can try it out yourself and tell me what you thought about the list. Is it good? Is it bad? You know, is there things that you would suggest to try to change? Let me know in the comment section below. But this has been Zuki M1, and I hope you guys have a great morning, great evening, great afternoon, and great night. But I will catch you guys in the next video.